Hey everybody, it's your girl, Melissa Renee, coming from Bellaminded.com, and I'm doing my mindful conversation vlog that is well overdue. And I thought, what better way not to start it with speaking on the final season of Snowfall. And I got my hubby here with me.
Hi, everybody.
Since he claimed I never had you on the show. I had you on a couple of shows when we did drinks and discussion.
I didn't claim anything. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's private conversation. Excuse me, my bad. Privately. Okay, so I want to go ahead and talk about our thoughts because it's been a whole lot of talk about this season finale with Snowfall. So I'm going to just go straight and get straight into the questions. So, first question. Did you like the ending? Did you introduce yourself and tell people, or you just said hello? Because I just called you hubby, but they don't know your name.
No, you introduced me and then said, because my husband begged to be on the show and I never had him on, so I just figured I'd sit down with him. But, yeah, I like the ending.
You like the ending?
Did you?
I loved the ending. It was so bittersweet. What did you like about the ending?
I mean, I feel like the show had already went against, what was going on in real life. To kind of so that it wasn't going to be what we know it as now. We know who Ricky Ross is, and we know that he's still alive, and we know what he's doing. So, he didn't say. He said he didn't have too much say in the series, so they didn't take it all the way with his life. It was loosely based. So, they had to figure out a good ending, and I think that was the only way they could really end it. I think it was realistic because you're not gonna become this drug kingpin working for the government and then actually make it to the top and then just be the successful businessman. It's not going to happen.
I thought it was bittersweet. I loved the ending. And it feeding off of what you were saying, that I do think that we tend to like to romanticize life. So we are always looking for the unrealistic happy ending of things instead of seeing the beauty in the reality of life, because there was the ending, though it might have been some sad, it was some unfortunate things, it was still like some beautiful, to me, moments within the ending. You know what I'm saying? Just how life is. So the next question is, what's one thing you would change about the finale?
About the finale.
Or it could be within the season, throughout the whole season.
I mean, you know what? I would say I wouldn't want the mom in prison, but then that ain't true.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So I guess everything that I would say I would change is things that probably made me the saddest. Like him and Leon parting ways in the end. Like it's no way to really have that without having that.
But here's the thing. See, I think that they did it so beautiful. It's like everybody just completely feels like that's just the end, right? They went off in their separate ways. Mind you, it was a year later. Okay? So if it was a year later, that means what? Franklin, at that moment, they walked away, but that doesn't mean that Franklin couldn't have eventually came around, got himself together, and reached back out to Leon because he was back in town.
Yeah, I mean...
So, yeah, it was sad, but I feel like I like the way they left it kind of like open because you don't know what could happen. Like, it doesn't mean that it was the end. It was just the end of that chapter of what they was at the moment.
That's true. And it doesn't mean that it was the end, so it left it open. So I respect that and I get that. You know what I'm saying? But
it would have. You just saying it would have been better on your heart if Lee would have reached out. He would have took the help, and they would have, would have made everybody feel better. Like,
Or even if Lee didn't come back. You know what I'm saying? But how would you do that scene without Lee?
But Lee had to come back.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So how could you do that scene without Lee? And the thing about it is, so I guess I really wouldn't change anything about it. You know what I'm saying? No. Because the way
not one thing.
The emotional roller coaster that it was, you know what I'm saying? Like,
listen, I feel like they did so excellent with the season, and I feel like that ending was bittersweet, but like I feel like it was so beautiful.
Right.
Like, I understand people don't like it, but sometimes what appears to be something that you don't like, once you understand it, it all makes sense, and you can kind of reflect back on it like, oh man, like that's how I see it. Like, I just see, you know what I'm saying? Because they could have made him a crackhead.
Well, yeah, I'm glad they didn't make him a crackhead, because you know what I'm saying? Like, that would be the irony of Hollywood, I think, if it was white creators telling the story.
They would have made him a crackhead.
They would have made him a crackhead. Whereas, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he was more so paranoid than anything else. Even when people speak on the liquor and stuff like that, like, I feel like he became one of them people, one of them old school guys that went into the service, got out the service, and was shell-shocked. You got to think about everything that he's seen. That's PTSD. Me being a veteran, I can recognize PTSD. Now, some people going to look at PTSD and say it's alcoholism.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I get what you're saying, because I think people don't understand. People tend to think when you see somebody like on drugs,
self-medicating,
and alcohol, you think alcohol is a problem. You call them a crackhead. But the drugs, the alcohol, like even somebody who eats excessively, that's not the problem. That's the coping mechanism. That's what they do to cope. But the problem is something else. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to heal and don't know how to work through or unpack whatever it is. So they use the alcohol, they use the drugs, or whatever vices they choose to cope. That's not the problem.
Yeah.
You know, and we tend to blame, it's the drugs. It's not the drugs. The drugs, of course, contributed to the downward spiral. Mm-hmm. But that's not the problem.
Yeah, in reality, he has seen too much to be regular. You know what I'm saying?
You think so?
Yeah, because...
I disagree.
Why you disagree?
I don't feel like... I feel like Franklin's problem was not wanting to accept reality. Mm-hmm. Like, his mom has accepted reality. Lee accepted reality. His father, Alton, accepted reality. You know what I'm saying? Jerome accepted reality. I feel like the only two people who didn't accept reality, well, the three people who didn't accept reality was Franklin, Louis, and Teddy. Mm-hmm. Those were the three people who couldn't accept that the ending was not going to look the way you want it to look.
Right. And based on what you're saying, those three people had seen too much to just be regular.
I don't think it's that they seen too much. I think they felt like something was owed to. I feel like they, not so much as they seen too much, but they did too much. I feel like they felt like I did too much for me to walk away and have nothing to show for it.
Right. So the difference might be in the way that we speak. Okay. Because you believe I'm saying the word seen too much and not thinking of it in what happened to them, what they did to others, what happened as a result of what they did.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, those things together, they seem too much to be regular. Does that mean that Franklin don't get to have a regular life at some point? No, it don't mean that. Mm-hmm. But it means that when you and not to make this a PTSD thing,
no,
but
no.
when you go through PTSD, you got to think about it. When Teddy first grabbed him, he kidnapped him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't ever came back up until the last 2 episodes. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you got Teddy, you trying to ask him about something that happened so many years prior. Mm-hmm. Why? Because that affected you. Yeah. That was a shell shock to you. You know what I'm saying? So now there's a reason why when you come to his mom's house and he in the house, he got paper up blocking the windows.
Well, you know what? You make a good point, because I saw someone say this, and this is in regards to Louis and her possibly PTSD, was they was like, y'all gotta understand, like, Louis came from a whorehouse. Mm-hmm. So we don't know what Louis experienced in that whorehouse. And yeah, she could have dealt with some PTSD. Yeah. And then the fact of going through being kidnapped and all of that stuff. So you make a valid point.
And with Louis, you got to recognize that she was with the lady. She was in the whorehouse. She was with the lady who owned the club. Like, she was always in a position where she was next to power, but she ain't have it.
And she didn't have it.
You know what I'm saying? So now that I sit in a position where I have some type of power, you know, what is this, season 4 or season 3, when Franklin got hurt and he was out of the play? Mm-hmm. Now that I'm in a position where I have this power, I'm not giving the power back. So now we're going to have a power struggle between me and Franklin. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe Franklin is moving incorrectly. So because I done seen so many other people in power lose, I'm not going to wait till he loses power.
Which I feel like, to me,
I'm going to take power.
Was just justification. I feel like she had to tell herself that to justify her need and drive for wanting to be seen and heard and have power. Yeah. Because she had power. See, even she had it. She took the plug from Franklin. She had the power, but she still wasn't being seen and wasn't being respected. Yeah. And that's what I mean when I say couldn't accept reality. You couldn't accept the reality that, you know, you being seen and being heard had nothing to do with your positioning of being a drug dealer or a kingpin or a queenpin. It had more to do with knowing your self-worth and knowing who you are as a person, because you have been able to exhibit that and project that. Yeah. But we gotta go to the next question. So the next question: who was your favorite character and why?
I would probably say, right off the top of my head, most fun character would be the uncle,
Jerome.
But my favorite character would probably have to be Franklin.
Franklin?
Yeah.
God, you know, I wrote this question, but I was asking myself, like, who's my favorite character? I could not come up with my favorite character because I loved each and every one of those characters. Mm-hmm. I just love, like, I couldn't see it without, you know, like, I even love Scully. Like,
Scully was dope, though.
Yes. You see what I'm saying? Like, yes, Scully, Wanda, like, I couldn't choose because I was like, dang, like, each one of them brings something. Like you say, Jerome, he bring, like, the fun.
What's the guy they killed from Compton? The one who always was arguing with Leon.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just because another nigga think. What's dude name? I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name. I got a block.
His character, you know what I'm saying, was dope.
Yes. I love all of them. I just can't. I love Sissy. I even love Alton character. I loved Franklin dad. I was honestly, like, I know it's crazy, but I was still honestly in my gut hoping that Alton would have appeared or something, like Sissy was gonna go away, and, you know, and Teddy was gonna be like, yeah, he over here. I knew it wasn't gonna happen, but I was just like,
that's why I said
maybe.
Said, what? I killed that.
Oh yeah. Listen, I feel like Sissy was gonna do that shit anyway, But I think Sissy was going to wait till after Franklin got that password. But when that nigga kind of like, Sissy was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Fuck this shit.
See, I think she did
it. I'm knocking tables over, bitch.
I think she did it because that was how she pumped herself up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think she had to, like...
She wanted him to say it.
Which is I think, you know, brilliance in writing that you might not pay attention to. Like, Sissy ain't been known to be no killer. She wasn't known to be no gangster. She ain't have no background in it. You know what I'm saying? She was just a mom that was trying to do what she could. Her family chose this business, so instead of Florida Evans in it, I'm gonna try to take advantage and try to get y'all in the right position so y'all can get out. So she ain't no killer. So, but it's like anybody can be pushed. So I know you killed my husband. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna use that as fuel to go ahead and pop you. I gotta do it because there's no way I can let my son, this monster, get this money.
We gonna get into that. Okay, who was your least favorite and why?
By design, Teddy.
Oh yes, Teddy was my least favorite.
Teddy was set up to be the biggest villain that wasn't a villain at the same time.
Teddy was probably my like Teddy was my favorite, least favorite. Mm-hmm. And then Louis came after that. Then Louis came after. But yes, definitely Teddy was my why. Was he what you said by design?
Yeah, it's by design. Of course he, you know, connected the young brother. Like, you know, I needed to connect at one point in time in life. You know what I'm saying? So he connected the young brother, put him in position, put him in play. But at the same time, even though you put him in position, you know, put him in the place where he could fly planes and own businesses and all of these things. At the same time, you looking at it like, oh, that's all mine anyway.
That's exactly why he was my least favorite. I'm not like, to be honest with you, I have to be real. Teddy was my least favorite because to me, Teddy represented, like he was symbolic for like white America. Mm-hmm. Like that's why I didn't like Teddy, because I already knew like everything you was doing for Franklin and for Louis, like you was never gonna let them have it. Yeah. It was only to pacify them. You know what I'm saying? So you could continue to use them. Yeah. Like you was never going to position them to be independent and flourish on their own. And to me, that's how I feel like white America is with us. Like, yeah, we gonna give y'all Juneteenth because we really ain't gonna give y'all no other equity in this country. Like we ain't gonna give you no real equity.
And that's government. So you say white America / government.
/
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I say white America because when I think about, I think I'm white.
That's something we do whenever a white person does something that's entitled. Like, they see you coming down the aisle and then they intentionally come and like block you. And it's like, I'm white. It comes off the Boondocks. But I say, white people because, their entitlement is what drives them in that sense. Mm-hmm. And the government helps to push that. You know what I'm saying? Like through the laws and I'll give you Juneteenth. Mm-hmm. Well, you got Juneteenth. What's the problem?
Yeah.
So they help perpetuate what the government does.
Yeah. You know
what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what he represented. That's who he was. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, he was.
Like dude say, oh, you could have left me something. Why you had to take everything?
And that's how they are.
Because it's mine.
Because it's mine. And
it's all mine.
And I, as Teddy, never had any intentions of you leaving. Stay close. As 50 Cent told, Young Buck? You got to stay close. That's what Teddy told Franklin. You got to stay close. Yeah. So, what did you like? Like, what was your biggest thing that you liked about the finale?
I like the fact that they didn't try to make a drug show that has a happy ending. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like it's in this day and age, kids can't watch TV and be like, that's TV.
It's like that's
it's reality.
It's like
I can go out here now and be a drug kingpin.
Yeah, like now they're really honing in on art being a reflection of life, because before, how we grew up, art wasn't necessarily a reflection of life in a lot of ways. But I won't lie, for John Singleton, it kind of was. Art was a reflect. Like, if you think about John Singleton movies and his productions, things he produced, it never was a ending of, oh, you know, a romanticized happy ending. You think about Boys in the Hood. Ricky died.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Doughboy died later. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you think about it, so even if you think about Poetic Justice, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they end up together, but at the expense of his cousin getting shot and killed. You know what I'm saying? At the expense of him losing the best friend. Like, reality.
Voice privacy content.
Like, in that sense. So I will give it up to John Singleton. I feel like John Singleton definitely goes in the category of art reflecting life, in the sense of not romanticizing it, like giving a more realistic perspective. Him and Spike, I say Spike Lee too. So, I will say that. What was the question I was asking? I said, what I liked about the finale.
Before we go into the next question, we're going to take a short break. So y'all give us a second. Tune into this commercial talking about the Bellaminded.
Oh, you don't even know what I said? Tune into this commercial for Bellaminded Apothecary. Get you some candles. 25% off on my site. Okay, so we left off with what did you like about the finale? And I kind of agree with you, so I don't really have to delve, because you said, you know, for the most part it was realistic. Mm-hmm. I did appreciate that. I know a lot of people want the romanticized happy ending because you're invested in the character and you want to see them do well. But realistically speaking, let's be clear. Because I see people say, oh, that's wrong how they, you know what I'm saying, let Franklin go out like that. And it's like, this man been around here killing folks, shooting up people. He, you know what I'm saying, like he, you know, about to strangle his baby mama. Like, he doing some real foul stuff. But yet, y'all still think that, you know what I'm saying, he should be, you know, he should be on top at the end.
Selective morality.
Yeah, like, that's crazy, because if it was reality, you know what I'm saying, and you knew this person was doing all this stuff, like, especially how y'all be tussling on social media. Mm-hmm. If this was Franklin was a real person and y'all was hearing this stuff on social media, same way, you know what I'm saying, you hearing stuff about Jonathan Majors, you would not be out here talking about, man, that's messed up how he go. No, you would be like, oh, yeah, cancel culture would be very heavy on Franklin. So let's not forget all of the stuff that Franklin did leading up to this. Like, Franklin's hands ain't been clean, and he wasn't, like, you know, he wasn't necessarily sparing people all the time, especially towards the end.
But people don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality of the society we live in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I champion all of these white slave owners all the way up to all of these crime bosses to become white wealthy families, all the way down to a YSL gang. As long as they make good music, I don't care if they terrorize the community. Not to say that they did, but if they did, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of these things people will champion, and they'll say free Pooh Shiesty, even though, you know what I'm saying, he was shooting up things according to him. And this big gangster according to him, and you couldn't go out to no spots in the city because they done shot them all up according to him. You know what I'm saying? But you'll view that and be like, free him, and wear a free him shirt. You know, not him specifically, but anybody in those situations, you scream free them.
And he done shot up somebody's mom or killed somebody's son.
And the only time you wouldn't is if it actually affected you personally. But other than that, yeah, like they're champion, you know what I'm saying, the person who's doing wrong to get and make what they make.
Yeah, like it like, what did y'all expect? Y'all expect him to be a terror and shoot and kill up everybody and threaten everybody, and then, you know what I'm saying, then turn around and be like, I wanted it. Like, and if he did, what type of person do you think he would have ended up being? Like, he just would have got more cutthroat and more vicious than before. Hence why, that's why Sissy wouldn't give him no more money. Because the money was feeding, you know what I'm saying, that illness of his, of power and control and money and respect and all of that. But we're going to go to the next question. What character do you relate to the most?
I would probably say, I'm going to keep saying his name, so I'm going to probably say Franklin right off the top answering that question.
You can relate to Frank. Why?
Yeah. Because I done seen that lifestyle before.
So you can relate in the sense of seeing yourself in Franklin to say that you could have easily had it, you know, just certain split decisions could have easily had you being like Franklin?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So I guess I have to answer. What character do I most relate to? I would have to say, I think I relate more to Wanda.
Okay.
I mean,
why is that?
Because I relate more to Wanda because I feel like people was counting Wanda out. You know what I'm saying?
Good reason.
Of course, because she, you know what I'm saying, she around here on the pipe. But it's like, why I say that is, I look at people a lot. And I look at people's situations. And I visually can see like, yo, I could have easily been in a situation had I made this decision or did this. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I relate to Wanda because Wanda had a resilience about her. She had a fight. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where I was, you know, I feel like people was easily counting me out. You know what I'm saying? Because I was dependent and, you know what I'm saying, I had a lot of things going on. And I could have easily succumbed to a lot of my insecurities and a lot of my, you know, things that happened to me in my life. But I don't know how I found it within myself to persevere. And I feel like Wanda found it within herself. How she did it. That's why I feel like Sissy kept saying, like, I admire her so much. You know what I'm saying? Because you wonder who can do that. It's so many crackheads out here.
Right.
How did you, of all these crackheads, how did you just stop doing crack, didn't go back and move on with your life? Because everybody can't do that. And you just have to, you wonder. And like, even with me, I'm so blessed. You know what I'm saying? I say I'm so grateful all the time, but I can't tell you how. I don't know what it was within me. Like, that part I can't explain. All I know is, you know what I'm saying, it got to a point where it was like, this can't be life, and I want something more. Yeah. How that happened, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's true. I think one of the strongest characters on the show is Wanda. You know what I'm saying? Because you get to see, for one, they kids.
Yeah.
When all of this stuff starts. That's the beauty of this show that I think nobody is paying attention to. Power power. He started off as a drug kingpin. The first episode, he killing somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? BMF, they started as kids, but you know
his
what I'm saying?
mom, oh no, they started as kids, but go ahead.
But BMF
I
is.
was just talking about the other one. Kane.
I feel like it's different in the upbringing and the way that they did things. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you watch these characters, you watch them grow up. So
Franklin was a straight up like Franklin probably was a kid you went to school with.
Yeah, so
like
you watch them grow up and you watch them become what they become. Like you watch Franklin go to jail and have to fend for himself in jail and have to learn how to maneuver in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like you watch that. He ain't have no crew no more. He wasn't that guy. But when he came out of jail, he been a different animal because he had to go live with the quote unquote animals and learn that skill. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody said he was soft. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He was in there looking soft. You know what I'm saying? To the point where Leon was like, yo, trying to let his people know, like, yo, watch out for him in there. You know what I'm saying? But he came out an animal. The same way with, what's her name?
Wanda.
With Wanda, you watch Wanda go from this fun-loving kid to a fiend to just straight up full-on crackhead, just out there doing whatever for the high. You know what I'm saying? To watching her get herself together, to seeing her in the eyes of how black people see black people when they go to Africa. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, she a queen with the head wraps and, you know, wife material and everything like that. And, you know, and then just seeing her have to deal with the community and the view of the community, which is what I think you talking about, where people were like, oh, you gonna marry a crackhead? You know what I'm saying? And she like, I'm not a crackhead. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
I'm not a crackhead.
Living with that stigma of what I once was and how people are gonna always view me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like her story is definitely a big one to recognize.
Yeah. What character taught you the most?
I would still say I would say like I can't, if I had to say one character, it would of course be the Star because of him going through the process he went through. Mm-hmm. But one thing I liked and hated was Leon. I liked Leon's character because Leon was hood, he was street, he was that dude, you know what I'm saying? He was an enforcer, but at the same time, he was learning things. They ain't show how he was learning the things. Mm-hmm. They ain't really delve into how he...
You feel like they should have kind of like went into his story a little bit more.
Yeah, reason being is because even your own people on your team is like, nigga, I don't know what you doing. Mm-hmm. 1 minute you controlling the hood, the next minute you Malcolm X and on the way to Africa. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like...
Yeah, they could have showed Leon like where, but it could be just like I was just saying about Wanda, and maybe that's why him and Wanda...
And it could have been Wanda.
You know what I'm saying? It could have been Wanda. Yeah. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or it could have been the same thing that Wanda, like something in you, you know what I'm saying? Whether you sit down and you just, that eye-opening moment, because you don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know why it happened. You don't know how it happened. You know, that's why they have the thing when they call it divine intervention. And it's maybe something just sparked. But, yeah, something sparked for him to have a different perspective. But it was something that he was feeding himself to. And they did not show, like, what he was doing to, like, nurture and feed that.
And let's say a spark was seeing Wanda how she was. Show that.
Yeah, love him someone.
Y'all had enough. They had enough dead air in the series. Let's be real. They had enough dead air in the series to delve into every once in a while him seeing Wanda out and about.
Yeah.
And being like, man, like that was my girl.
But he did one time. Like they did show like him seeing Wanda how, you know, how she was, and you know, it kind of made him feel like that. Like you could tell he still loved her. You know what I'm saying? But like what he was seeing wasn't what. That's why he told Franklin that about what was Franklin girl. Not Melody.
I don't remember.
I don't remember her name, but you know when she got on, and he was like, "Yo, that's not her." So you know that ain't her. That ain't the person.
But even in that, like, so because I feel like that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like how, because people are always talking about drugs, the effect of drugs, how, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, oh, your family member steal everything from you. They steal your whole house. Well, how do you get to a point where you trust that person again?
But I don't think that you will. Hence why I love the scene, one of the episodes out of the last season with the grandmother when Wanda walked up there and she slammed that door with her face. Like, it's, you know, sometimes it's gonna be what it is. It's nothing you can do about that situation. Like, you gotta come to terms with the fact that, yeah, your grandmother probably ain't gonna ever look at you the same ever again. And I respect that in regards to that. Yeah. But what I'm saying with Leon is he did learn to trust her. Yeah, he did. He made her his whole wife. But you want to. You're saying like why didn't y'all delve into why? Like, because it's like the mechanics of his mind. Even his thought process. Because the reality of it is, a lot of dudes would be like, I never. She done been out there in the street doing this and that and that and this and this and this. Like, they had enough dead air that they could delve into. You know what I'm saying? His thought process. You know what? They might have should have took some pages out of, and I don't want to bring another show in, but Atlanta. That is one thing I do like about Atlanta. That how they might have certain episodes where it specifically goes into that character, kind of give you the background, and it kind of plays it up to the current. And they could have did that with Leon. They could have. They could have did some background and played it up to the current so we could get a full. And Orange is the New Black. They was good for doing stuff like that too. Like kind of delving in on the character. Showing why they are who they are. So yeah, they could have used the opportunity to delve into like, you know, why. Yeah. I feel like they could have did that with Scully too. Yeah. I always want to be like, why Scully like that? But see, Scully wasn't a main character. Big enough as a character, but I think with Leon and what's his girl name? Wanda. Leon and Wanda, there was a big enough part of the series, including the end, to where you could have actually delved into that a little bit more. And I ain't even talking about like you gotta make a whole episode. I'm just saying, there go your girl in it, and he look and see, you know what I'm saying, like some other shit. But maybe, I don't know, maybe that is something you wouldn't want to see in order for the redemption of those two characters. Because those two characters became about redemption. Yeah. So I guess to answer your question, I would say I probably learned the most from those two characters. Two characters, Wanda and Leon. Yeah, as a couple. I can agree. The next one is, what did you take away from the overall show? You answer this first. What I took away from the overall show was life be life. I took away life be life. What's that mean? Meaning like, just look at how look how certain characters start and look how they evolve. Mm-hmm. And it's like life is gonna life regardless. Life is gonna be what it is. And it's like you sit in a position to have the control to make it what you want it to be. So, for instance, like when Jerome was talking to his own homeboy who owned the mechanic shop, like he could have still tried to be in the game, but he already knew like the trajectory I'm on of what this shit gonna end up being probably likely is not gonna end the way I think it's gonna end. So let me get myself in a position, let me put myself in a place where, you know what I'm saying, I can enjoy the priceless things in life that people overlook. Family, kids, stuff like that. So what I took away from the show is that, we all have these expectations. We all think we know how something gonna turn out, how something gonna be, because we all put a lot of our energy into thinking that the material, tangible, American standards of what having a happy life is. We put so much energy in that when those things aren't permanent and those things don't necessarily, they're not going to be the thing that makes your life what you want it to be at the end of the day. Because if you even look at Louis, like, you did some cutthroat stuff just to put yourself in a position to have this power that you claim you never had, and you still ain't have it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You still didn't have it. So that's what I mean when I say life be lifing. Like, it taught me that life is gonna life, and it's up to you to be able to make your life what you want it to be. And it's up to you to know that it's more than just the tangible or the apparent things that you see. Like, it goes way, way deeper. And money, clothes, cars, power, respect, all of those things that's outside of you is not going to help and fulfill you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to help and fulfill you. Even like with Franklin. Franklin got that money, Franklin would still been chasing the dollar. Still been chasing power the same way Louis would have been. You know what I'm saying? Teddy would have still been out here thinking he saving the world, knowing damn well he ain't. You know what I'm saying? So you have the decision. If you look at a Leon, if you look at a Wanda, if you look at even Alton, if you look at Sissy, like, you have the decision to be able to make a life that is going to be fulfilling, and you can wake up and look at yourself every day.
Well, I guess I would go with the notion and say that be careful what you ask for. You know what I'm saying? Because the reality of it is, sometimes you ask for things that take on a life of its own. All Franklin wanted was some money. I don't believe he wanted to be no big time drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? When he came to his uncle just wanted some money. You know what I'm saying? Like, and look out for his nephew. You know what I'm saying? Like, his dad realized that the government had their hooks in his son and was destroying the community that he was trying to help protect at one point in time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, the mom, she just wanted to protect her family the best way she knew how. So maybe if I can make what we doing legit, then I can protect the family. She was trying to help her son get out. So in the end, when you look at it, a lot of these people set in positions where they ain't really have no control once the wheels started rolling. So you kind of got to be careful what you ask for. Mm-hmm. Like the example you gave, Hollywood's character, because he's going to always be Hollywood. Sorry. But Queen Sugar. Hollywood's character, he was able to get out the game probably because he was no name. Mm-hmm. Franklin is a big time drug dealer. Mm-hmm. He know who the plug is. He can't just get out the game. Well, he could have got out the game, but he had to start all over. He can't just get out the game because dude right there, like, I'm going to take everything from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a man, you can't allow another man to just be able to take everything from you. I strongly do not believe that they were going to give him that password to $37 million and he was going to walk away. And that's how clouded I feel like Franklin's judgment was. Because the old Franklin, who wasn't as, I think he would have realized, like,
They ain't finna give me this money. I ain't finna walk away with $37 million, and that's just about to be the end. And I feel like Sissy knew that.
But if it was
that's why Lee was like, do you know like what your mama did?
I agree wholeheartedly. But if it wasn't a show, Oso would have killed him. You know what I'm saying? Oso would have stayed and finished the job. But it's a television show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And all of their judgment is clouded in this moment in this show. So Oso's like, I just got to get away. Hopefully you're going to do, because your risk is as heavy as mine. If he knew that this man would have been an inkling for him to keep him alive, no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's the reality.
But yeah,
Franklin was too lost trying to get back what
Teddy is nowhere in the world you sitting around some CIAs and they're going and you holding the CIA hostage where you kidnapped him and tortured him, and you think they was about to give you $37 million and you was about to walk away with 30, and you was just about to be out here just being a real estate mogul. No.
Yeah,
they was either gonna take that money back or they was gonna come and kill you.
But when you look at life,
they was take the money back and kill you.
When you look at life, you say, well, be careful what you ask for, because the dad came around trying to be a father to his son and let him know, like, yo, this ain't the right thing. We ain't going about this the right way, on and on and on. All right, well, at least I could open up a community center and help the people that we hurting in the community at the same time. You know what I'm saying? But then this is affecting my community way too much. I got to stop this. I got to blow the whistle on this situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, those series of events that happen, there's no other choice for him to make. Either save himself or save his son. Yeah. So he chose to try to save his community, his son, his family. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So in that, there is no choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the end, the uncle, he had a choice. That's why he was like, I'm done. You know, because Louis, you a monster just like my nephew. So both of y'all monsters. I'm done. I'm out of this.
The fact that Louis could look at Franklin and be like, you a devil. And she couldn't see that she was looking at her own reflection. You are too.
Yeah. So that's what
you are too.
So that's what I got out of it. A lot of people, it became a series of unfortunate events. It's kind of like a monkey paw. Mm-hmm. You make a wish, but you don't know what's going to happen when you make that wish. You know what I'm saying? And as a result, I feel like a lot of things, it started a spiral to where a lot of people couldn't get out of the situation they was in because it already started. And I think a lot of times people don't think about that. You don't think about when you as a grown man, you don't think about if I go outside and defend my daughter against this little boy who harassing her, that this little boy ain't gonna come back and try to shoot me and my family. You don't think about that. You know what I'm saying? So every action has a reaction, and you gotta make sure that you can live with the decisions that you made. Because if you made a decision to follow your son, who decided this, your nephew, son, friend, whoever that decided to be a drug dealer and live this life, you got to recognize what comes with it and be willing to deal with everything that comes with it. Yeah. And a lot of times people ain't willing to deal with that. Okay, so next I'm just going to highlight on some little things because it's some things that stood out to me that I like. For one, like I say, somebody compared, I was on Facebook and somebody compared Franklin and Louis and said basically they're like the same in one. And I felt that the way, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like they are the same in one. It's just that Franklin was driven by money. Louis was driven by power. And they were kind of like the same in one. Both of them were kind of pampered in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, Franklin was kind of pampered, you know, by his mom. Like, you know, trying to make Louis, to me, was Jerome. You know, and so you got to look at it. These are the two people who kept feeding them. And these are the two people who, at the end of the day, sacrificed themselves for them. Mm-hmm. Put themselves, like,
Franklin and Sissy put herself on the line for Franklin. Jerome put himself on the line for Louis. And, you know what I'm saying, that's the thing I feel like people, I saw somebody say, oh, Louis, that's what you gotta do. If you gotta be cutthroat. And it's like, she said that, and then a person responded and they said this quote, they said, yeah, but the thing Louis forgot to protect her protector. And I feel like that was a very deep sentiment, because I feel like as women, that's what men, I've had conversation to you when I say, women are protectors too. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to their family, to their husbands, to their children. And that's what I mean when I say women are protectors. Like, you was willing to let Jerome go out there and risk his life and put whatever on the line. And at no point was you willing to say, you know what? It's not worth that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to do that. Or don't present certain things to him because you don't even want him to make that decision. That's what I mean when I say women protect men. You know what I'm saying? Because we might not be protectors physically, but I feel like we are the protectors, like, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be the one, like, this is my protector. So I have to protect my protector. So in protecting my protector, I have to tell my protector, even if somebody tries to violate me, if I know that the potential of the risk and the things that he's going to encounter by doing something, I have to be the protector of him to let him know, like, no, we don't have to do it this way. We could go about it this way. You know what I'm saying? I should be the sense of reason for him. So I felt like that was very deep. You know what I'm saying? That somebody said that she forgot. She forgot to protect the person who was protecting her. Because once she realized, once that person gone,
it's over with.
Who protecting you? Yeah. You ain't got nobody protecting you no more. So you definitely gotta protect your protector, ladies. So yeah. I felt that was real. I like the fact that somebody spoke on, like, Franklin and his addiction, while he's selling crack. And we know, like, this is a big thing when it comes to drug dealers. While you selling crack and getting these people addicted to this crack, and it's like a big addiction, you don't realize how you're becoming addicted to the money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it showed that, like, think about it. When you saw Franklin running around, like, Franklin been running around about this money the whole season. Mm-hmm. Like, give me $500K real quick. Man, come on, Louis, man. Like, y'all can't tell me if y'all take the scenes of Franklin the whole season running around by this money. Now put that next to when old girl, when she got hooked on that crack and how she was running around with Wanda.
Yeah, it's
on that crack. He looked like an addict.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It was the same thing. I thought that was cool. I don't know if they intentionally did it like that, but he looked like a straight up fiend. Like, he looked like a fiend when he was in there and finally opened that case that was in that safe that was in Peach's house, and only saw like 12. He opened that damn case. He was already knew it was something. When he looked at it, he was talking about. And he told that man to count. He said, count that man. He's talking about, it's about 12,000. That nigga was like he went off like a motherfucker who think they picking up some crack off the ground and there's nothing but some lint. And they're like he was an addict. He was an addict. That nigga was running around like a straight up fiend. Like, to the point where he goes to Leon and like, yo, just give me that 3. Like, listen to how he had sound. Yo, so this is what we finna do. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take the 5. I'm already, I got the 5K you already gave me. I'm gonna chop that up because I know I owe you that. You gonna give me that $3 million. Now I'm gonna take that $3 million and I'm gonna make you a partner and I'm gonna invest it and I'm gonna flip it. Ain't that sound like a motherfucker who on crack who come to you like, listen, let me tell you something. So if I clean your gutters if I wash a car, you know what I'm saying? If I sweep the porch, you know what I'm saying? You know what? I know somebody who knows somebody who can hook you up with this 50-inch, because I see like he was a straight fiend.
Yeah.
That was like fiend behavior. And now I'm trying to understand why people could not correlate these things. How y'all didn't see this? Like y'all seeing the spiral effects.
I don't think it's that they can't even see it. I think people see it. They know that like it's two-sided addiction. And a lot of times with drug dealers, it don't even be money. It be the side that Louis played, which is power. You know what I'm saying? Because the reality of it is I got so much money that money ain't a factor.
Yeah. I feel like Franklin though was more on money.
Oh,
like I don't think he, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't care if you respect me, give me my money.
Yeah, because Franklin's thing was never about respect, because everybody that he dealt with was disrespecting him at different points.
Yeah,
so it was never like he was the little bro. So you know what I'm saying? Like it was never about necessarily power for him. It was always about the money. You know, and I do believe that Franklin could have gotten the money and he would have stayed away from the game.
Yeah,
you know
I believe that too.
Because it ain't like his lifestyle, learning how to fly the planes, learning how to do this, traveling, all these things. His lifestyle wasn't conducive with a drug dealer. So that's what tells you
he wanted to sit. That's why I
that money was his defining factor.
Yeah. That's why I feel like he was holding on to that downtown project, because what it represented the status quo of money.
And it had the power to keep him out of the game.
Yeah.
It had enough return. It wasn't a house in Compton.
Yeah.
It had the power to keep him out of the game because of the amount of money he would have made from the deal.
Yeah.
So that's why he sold everything else to try to protect that.
Yeah. I feel like he definitely wanted to live a polar opposite life than Louis. Louis wanted to live a life where she was around here, like, you know,
surrounded
checking
by
it, got bought. Yeah, like checking, like she feel like
I'm the queen.
I'm the queen pin. Yeah. Sissy. I'm highlighting on Sissy. I said I feel like Sissy realized. That's why when she made the statement, she was like, Franklin is my biggest tragedy. Because Sissy was always trying to run in and save the day for Franklin. Which is a telltale for us as parents, especially as women. That's the importance of having fathers when it comes to sons. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when I was dropping my son off this morning, I seen this guy. He was walking his son. You know how we got the little ramp, the bridge. So he stopped at the corner and he made him walk up this, you know, the little boy looked like he might have been like 7. You know what I'm saying? Might have been 7, maybe 8. And he was just looking down and looking sad, you know, walking. And his dad was just like standing on the corner. He's a white guy. And he was smoking his cigarette. And, you know, first thought, I was like, now he know he can walk that boy at least up to the, you know, look at him, looking sad. He can walk that boy up and cross that thing at least, you know what I'm saying? Then let him walk the rest of the way. And then I immediately stopped myself. I said, because I saw him watching. I saw him standing like on the corner watching him. I said, see? And that's the difference between mothering and fathering. Because a mother, instantly, we want to nurture and make you feel like it's okay. So we coming in and we gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? Whereas a father, like, that man mentality was, he needs to be comfortable and confident walking up these stairs, across this big bridge, and into school on his own. Because if not now, when? So immediately I knew, I was like, you know what? Let me shut up. Because that's why we got so many spoon-fed young boys around here, because we as mothers don't know when to cut it off and when to allow our sons to fall and pick themselves back up. And I feel like that's why Sissy had kind of said that it was her biggest tragedy, because she knew she didn't allow Franklin to fall and pick himself back up. She was coming in with exit plans. She was coming in with this and trying to do this because in her mind, she thought, well, you know what I'm saying, this is going to be it. This is going to be it. And it's not. And that's why I'm learning even with my sons, like, listen, I had to learn. You cannot parent, especially women, when it comes to our sons and even our daughters. We cannot parent out of fear. We cannot parent out of fear. And I feel like Sissy had fear. You know what I'm saying? Like, Sissy was scared her son was going to get locked up. Sissy was scared her son was going to die. You know what I'm saying? Like, so she was doing every and anything to try to pad that fall. When if she had let him fall a long time ago, you know what I'm saying? Like, once he made the decision to sacrifice his father, because he did sacrifice his dad. Once he made that decision, like, that was the time where she should have just been like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Went off wherever she was supposed to go off and be done with it. And allow him to fall and pick himself up and find his way. And I get it. It's scary as a parent, especially as a mom, because you don't want to see your son in jail. You don't want to see your son dead. You don't want to see these things for your kids. And you trying your best to protect them. But sometimes we can be overbearing and too protective to the point where we hinder them learning a lesson. Because I shared this in my group, and I agree wholeheartedly with this. When you're raising children, you are not raising your children to obey you. You're raising your children to learn how to be individuals, learn how to be confident, learn how to move and maneuver in the world. You know what I'm saying? In a healthy way, in a respectable way. Like, you're teaching your kids to be independent and know how to use certain tools to help them in life. That's it. You can't force your kids to use the tools. You can't make your kids use the tool. You can't tell them when and where. You just have to, you know what I'm saying, trust that whatever seeds you plant, eventually those seeds will grow. And guess what? You're never going to know how those seeds grow if you don't step back and just watch to see them grow. You'll never know if what you taught your child was retained if you don't give them the ability to see what they're going to do with it. And I feel like that's why he was the greatest tragedy, because he was a mama's boy. And we see why. And I feel like she understood that. And because look at the difference between Franklin having a mother and how he turned out versus Leon, who I don't think had a real mother presence in his life. And look how he turned out. Because Leon probably had to fall. He probably had to learn some things on his own and get some self-perspective on his own. He ain't have nobody coming in and like, you know.
Yeah, he ain't have nobody to pacify him.
He ain't have nobody to pacify him. So, that was an interesting concept. I already discussed Jerome was to Louis what Sissy was to Franklin. Mm-hmm. Like, that it's so much parallels in their relationship. That was very parallel. I do want to talk about Franklin and cope in the alcohol thing, because, you know, I hear a lot of people talk about, you know, alcohol was his demise. At least he didn't go out smoking crack. Well, it wasn't the alcohol that was his demise. It was the money that was his demise. That's what, you know, had him to fall. The alcohol was just a coping mechanism. But I want to kind of hit on the point where somebody made the statement on Twitter saying how he start drinking one time and now he just a full-blown alcoholic. Y'all, I'm going to need us to start using context clues, foreshadowing, all the things that they taught us in school when we were reading books and having to do book reports, okay? It's a show. They can't give you every single detail of what something means. You got to look a little deeper. You got to look at, you know what I'm saying, the way, the angle, the cameras, the shadowing. Like, when he held up that liquor, when that person poured it and he held it up, you know what I'm saying? That meant something. The director was emphasizing something to you in that moment. We gotta know how to kind of like read a little bit between the lines when you are, you know what I'm saying, looking at visual arts. Everything ain't just, or even reading, when you reading stuff, everything ain't gonna be spelled out to you. You gotta find some. So yeah, he drunk one time, but it's plenty things like you have 37 million at the tip of your tongue and see your mama shoot the person who's supposed to give it to you, and you feel like everything over with. What the hell you think you gonna do? How you think you finna cope with that? You just like, what you finna do? You just never know. So it's not unrealistic that he took one drink and kept drinking. Shit, don't that's how people. Shit, but Wanda and the other girl smoked crack one time, and they was just smoking crack. Like, yeah, how many times you could, like?
That's why what's understood don't need to be explained. You know what I'm saying? Like, those types of people, you know, problem with internet, problem with podcasting, problem with everybody being a blog news source is that everybody's opinion is made to matter. Nobody would have ever asked you for that take. Nobody would have ever discussed that take. Because obviously you ain't understood and you needed to go watch again.
But I spoke that take because I see a lot of people with this whole season and with the finale show being very surfaced. Y'all are looking at things from a very surface perspective. Sometimes broaden your horizons and look deeper at things. Ask yourself the question. Even if you say, "Oh man, I wish Franklin would have end up having some money and getting himself together," and then ask yourself, okay, if that would have happened, what would have been his atonement for the way he treated his friend, the way he was killing up people, the way he treated his baby mama? Like, what would have been the reckoning or the accountability that he had to face and do? Because are you just saying that you just want him just to be on top and win at the end of the day without, you know what I'm saying, sacrificing nothing? That's not realistic.
Yeah, but my thing is, and a lot of times with these conversations, you'll find that people will be comparing, they'll compare Power to The Wire, or they'll compare Power, The Wire, and Snowfall. And then you'll sit back and you'll say, these people probably never watched these shows. Because if you watch these shows, you would not compare them. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't compare them.
Well, even with Power, like, I mean, at the end of the day, even with Ghost dying, that still makes sense, because you can't think that you just gonna play dirty, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like a sweet bittersweetness. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you doing all of these moves, putting yourself out here, you know what I'm saying, for all of these people. You know, like, you wanted to get out the game, you could have been stepped out the game. But because you're trying to pacify your homeboy Tommy, you're trying to pacify your wife, your kid's mother, you know what I'm saying, you're trying to pacify your kids, you doing everything outside of yourself.
And a lot of instances where your name is known and attached to this drug and this organization, so you don't have no choice but to work, because they putting you to work.
Yeah. So it's like, well, he had a choice.
No, dude was gonna kill him in the end if he ain't give him $150,000 a week or something. You know what I'm saying?
Who?
The white dude who him and Tommy went to war with in the end.
Yeah.
So basically, like, you know, because this is and a lot of this has to do with it being a show. Because it's a show, we can't let Ghost leave the game. You know what I'm saying? Because that don't make sense. This is a show about drugs. So we got to have him selling drugs. That's the reason why even Tariq in the new season, You know what I'm saying? When he trying to get out and he getting close to graduating, he gonna be a millionaire. But guess what? Now we got Noma popping up out of nowhere that say, even when you in Paris, nigga, I need you to go do something for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you are never free, and you can never be free because I control you.
I feel like you can be free. I feel like the undertone with all of these shows, with some Snowfall, with Power, with all of these shows is, even BMF, you can be free, but you gotta sacrifice and let something go. And it be, they don't want to let go of that money. And I get it.
Most of the time, the instances you would have to sacrifice your life. I think Snowfall is the only one that psychologically went to the point to say, your money is gone.
Well, yeah, because
you can walk away.
He still had to pay. Yeah, because Ghost still had to pay that guy, you know.
But the reality of it is, even in Franklin's situation, you think how long Teddy was going to let you live?
Well, yeah.
Before he felt, even with Teddy taking the money, let's say you was a garbage man. How long Teddy was going to let you live before he felt like you would become a risk to him and the secrets of the government?
So you would have never, so in a sense, you ain't going to never be free.
Yeah, you would have never been free.
Realistically.
And that's the reality. That's why I said I got from it that, be careful what you ask for. Because a lot of times people want that money. A lot of times women want that man with that money. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, a lot of times that money comes with blood ties that you ain't willing to pay for.
And see, I saw somebody wrote, like, they compared this Snowfall, BMF, and Power, and was like, see, this is why you got to get in and get out, because it's, you either going to be a bum, you're going to go to jail, or, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be dead. And I feel that, but I also feel like it's easy to say get in and get your money and get out, but I think what people miss about the whole, and I ain't no drug dealer, but just, understanding certain things about it, like, as you make money, you raise up in power. You know what I'm saying? That means you got more people depending on you. You got, more territory, more responsibilities. When you progress in power in that, in the drug game, that's when you become more locked in and it's harder for you to get out. So when you say just go in there and make your money and get out, well, that's if you ain't trying to, I feel like that might be possible, but I don't see you trying to go in, make $1 million and get out, you know what I'm saying, without having the ties and the risk of your position.
It's about recognizing the addiction. What you talking about, right? You was talking about two different addictions. When you are a person selling dimes and nicks, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't never had no money. So when you see that shoebox full of money, you like, damn, I did that. That's like a person taking their first hit. You like, damn, this high is so strong. So that's what it is. You feeling something that's so strong to you.
Or is it the fact, or could it be the fact that you see that shoebox full of money, you like, dang, but after you help mama pay this bill and you help your sister with that bill, you know what I'm saying, you realize, like, shit, like, I'm gonna need more money.
It's a rush. And I'll leave it at that. Okay. It's a rush. Like,
I got you. I ain't a drug dealer, so
what you talking about is a noble perspective.
Okay.
A very noble perspective.
Which will come from a civilian who's
I'm going to, I get to take care of my family, and I see my family being taken care of, and we doing well.
But
I said noble perspective.
But realistically,
the addiction comes from seeing the amount of money you made in a short period of time and how you came from nothing. That's why everybody's conversation is, I came from nothing. And then it starts to be about a hustle. Like, we watched Nino Brown, and Nino Brown was like $1 million in a week, $1 million organization in a week. Think about it. I took over a whole building. I said the tenants have become loyal customers. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If not, then they'll become prisoners.
Hostage.
In no way am I thinking about anything positive for anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Not my family, not taking care of nobody. Anytime you see these guys get to the point of opulence where they making so much money and so much money, you don't never hear them talking about family. Why? Because more than likely family already taken care of. At that point, when family already taken care of, you could be like, I don't need no money no more. I got businesses more than likely cleaning the money. Yeah. So I could literally get out and still have a nest egg of money and have these businesses running where I ain't getting the money how I'm used to. Bingo. That's the addiction. I'm not getting the money how I'm used to. Makes sense. So it seemed like I ain't getting money. Mm-hmm. My problem was I got money, but I was used to spending money a certain way when I was getting money. So now that I got a regular job, the money that's coming in ain't covering the way I'm used to spending.
That makes sense.
So it ain't that I ain't making money. It just ain't coming as fast as I'm used to it coming.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. See, I can't speak from that perspective. I ain't never done it. Oh, but we can wrap it up. That was the last.
7 minutes.
That's the last thing. So, the last question is overall thoughts about the entire series.
Entire series, I would say it was dope. I feel like they had like some low moments, but you know, like dude said, who played Rockin', what's the uncle name? Jerome. Mm-hmm. He said in an interview, he was like, listen, this show was all about drugs. Drugs. It's a story that you already know. We got to do some things to try to make the show, you know, less about drugs so that you can keep coming back to it. Mm-hmm. Me on the outside looking in, I would have said the Leon, you know, story and some of his aspects would have been great. Mm-hmm. I would have said, you know, even to the point where how you rush things with Franklin going into his spiral. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It would have been better to, I ain't gonna say better, but it did come off like a rush, but it made sense because he was moving sporadically, trying to do what he needed to do. So strike that. So anyway,
yeah.
But overall, it's a dope series. It was dope art, and I'm glad that they continued even after John Singleton passed. And you know, I think it was great. And like Dimsum said, this was 8 years of my life. Mm-hmm. You know, and
he did awesome.
I respect that. I feel like it kind of reminded me of Everybody Hates Chris. In the sense of how he grew up in the show.
I loved the overall series because I love how the characters evolved.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I can honestly say, even comparing it to like Power, I didn't see the evolving of a lot of those characters. But the way the characters evolved on Snowfall, that shit was epic. To see how Franklin was this little, little mama's boy type of character who became cutthroat. Like, that shit is genius, and the way he was able to do it and still seem believable, and it was authentic. Even Leon going from being like a street dude in this, and you come off to be the more, sound-minded and logical, like even Scully, like becoming a more, emotional and consoling and compassionate, like the evolving from a cutthroat killer. Like, it was magical. So kudos to y'all. Y'all did an excellent job.
Man boy.
That was his name. Man boy. Yeah, that's who you talking about. Yeah, like the evolution of the characters was amazing. To see Sissy be this, mom that we all know, to, like putting it all on the line. I just love the evolution, and I love how they allowed the characters to grow and transform.
And I'm glad they ain't make Sissy Florida Evans.
Yes.
Damn, James. So I'm glad they didn't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for doing this with me.
No problem.
I appreciate it. I'll give you a kiss.
Aww.
And on that note, Peace out. Peace and blessings. See y'all later. Bye.
Her mind is beautiful.
You real jokey.